part of the spiel with every location is promising them that we won't blow the location up because they all saw the first one.
It does feel very visceral when you're out here and all this stuff is going on. It's not that hard to imagine, you know, being in that situation because it feels like you're really in it.
I just sort of never imagined I would be in a movie where I had to run from exploding stuff.
There's no like, oh, he would like for us to try it at least. That's not, we weren't given the option, like, you do it or something bad is gonna happen to you.
Ow! 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 Okay, let's go!
We're starting in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, and it's mainly because it's got this fantastic steel mill that is no longer in use, but it serves as an incredible background, which you can see just all the design and the features of everything that you see around you. It's phenomenal.
The Bethlehem steel scene, which is the opening of the movie effectively, was really logistically the biggest thing we had to do, I think. Certainly from my point of view, 3 nights, massive night shoots.
I think one time we had 2 Apache helicopters, 2 Black Hawk helicopters, and also 2 additional filming helicopters along with Humvees, Rangers, you know, I mean, it was just massive.
The interesting thing we did with it was shoot it right at the beginning of the film, which is often a time when you may start with something small to get people up to speed, help them to sort of acquaint themselves with each other and generally help the process gently start. Michael's not that sort of guy.
I like to start them hard and fast very first week. Your first week on a movie sets the entire tone for the show. You want to do a little bit of action, a little bit of character, a little bit of stuff that's going to wow the studio, stuff that's going to test your lighting, that's going to establish a look. You try to do a little of everything so that it just sets the tone.
It was a real experience to go there, especially on the first day, and I'll tell you this, it is the hardest day I've ever had working, ever. I was finishing, I'm like, man, you know what? I wish I was doing this 15 years ago because I feel like an old man right now.
I remember he told me the first time we did it, he said, come ready, be in shape, because I demand a lot. It's going to be a physical shoot, and he was right.
It was very physical for me because the first round, I think I had at least 48 more pounds on me. And, you know, basically, there was a few phone calls that came down the pipe that I need to sharpen it up a little bit. And, you know, I got on that treadmill, got busy, got rid of the calamaris and the extra moose cake, and, you know, came out here ready to rumble in the jungle.
I just want to welcome you guys here today. It's Transformers 2 right now, and I just want everyone to have fun, keep it safe. Know that, hold this, Nike actually made me a shoe. It's called Bayos, AKA Chaos, because I'm going to be up all your asses, all right? Because I do like to shoot fast, all right? And just wondering what the f you're doing standing around. Let's get to work, okay?
When he arrives on the set, it's work, work, work. He's moving constantly. You almost have to run to keep up with him.
Boom, let's move here. Okay, finish, move there, boom. And if you don't bring your A game, he lets you know about it. And I completely understand because that guy is thinking so far ahead. He's a machine.
He's a force of nature like I've never encountered before. And I really thrived on the pace that he likes to keep. I mean, the amount of energy he has, this movie easily could have been shot for another 30, 40 days in many directors' hands. But he's not willing to let that happen.
My thing in the movie business is there's so much waste and there is so much dicking around in the film business, and it doesn't need to be.
Once you get up and running, you don't stop. You do not stop. And there is no downtime. There's no downtime, not even to not shoot or not prep, but to even not think.
We've made up an imaginary product that's like an adult diaper, but for like when you're working on a Michael Bay movie, you're not allowed to stop to go to the bathroom, so you need scampers. It's like when you're just too busy to stop.
He likes to have 2 or 3 things happening at the same time. So what you'll find is you'll be in the middle of shooting a scene, and in fact there'll be cameras being prepared for the next shot and the one after that, which in itself isn't an unusual way of working, but the momentum and the speed at which it happens and develops and the scale at which we're doing stuff and the things that are happening within that scale is phenomenal. I've never seen anything like it. And it's a self-perpetuating sort of machine, because the faster you go, the more you're able to achieve. Everyone ramps up to a certain pace that I'd say could only be described as maximum.
Good. Got that. Moving on.
Lock it up. Princeton was great, actually. Great locations. They were very helpful. It's obviously beautiful location.
That was the other cool part, was doing like the collegiate tour, you know, especially for somebody my age. And what I wanted to do before we jumped on this movie was, you know, I wanted to go to school. A lot of the schools that I wanted to do, you know, and go, the prospecting schools, the schools that I was interested in, we got to visit. So it was fun to like kill 2 birds with 1 stone, be shooting this explosive movie that everybody was excited about seeing, and then being able to visit these campuses that you would have been visiting on your off time, and being able to merge them together, you know, and instead of sending the dean of admissions a letter, being able to blow up his office. It's a cool way to be able to say, hey, you know, I'm a good addition to your school. Boom. Please let me attend. Kaboom.
Go, 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 go!
It's very challenging, I think, for actors in his films in terms of just the physical nature of what they need to do. And he's tough. He's really tough. He's tough on everyone, and he's tough on the actors.
You know that you're about to step into war. I mean, I've never done anything this hard, ever in my life. And everybody coming off of Transformers says there's no experience like Transformers. There is nothing to compare it to. It's hard work.
Mike decided that he was gonna put Shia on wires and spin him around the outside of a car that has been elevated like 40 feet in the air that is also spinning.
Okay, how do I know if you've got a problem?
I don't have no problems. What do you mean if I have a problem?
If you have a problem, we need to bring it to a stop.
I'll let you know. I'll say, hey, Casey. You got a plan? Guess what? I got a problem.
It's gonna speak English to me.
Deal? Deal?
All right. It's a deal.
Mike's like, all right, we're gonna start easy. How we wrap your hand with a seatbelt, tie you to a car, spin the car around for 40 minutes.
That day was fun for me because Ramon and I were stuck in the car together, and Michael likes to operate the camera whenever possible, so he got in the car with us with the handheld camera, and he wanted, for some reason, like paper flying around the entire shot. So Ramon and my job was to rip up little tiny pieces of paper and just throw them in front of the camera, and the camera was on Shia, and he was having to do all the hard work, and he was like screaming, he was in pain, he was in a harness, his balls hurt, his hand was falling off, he was losing his fingernails, and Ramon and I were just in there like, wee! So that was good fun for me.
I just remember that day being really not fun. That was not a cool day. That was a rough day. Yeah. Every day, Mike would show up on set, and a lot of people were taking over and unders on whether he'd show up on time. Because usually it was about 2 hours you were waiting around, you know? So we started betting on it. And it became like our fantasy football, whether he'd show up on time.
This is an official gambling pool. Over the course of this week, we've had around an 8:30 crew call, and Michael's arrived on average at 9:25. So the Vegas odds put the over-under at 925. Now, he is driving himself today. Okay, that doesn't happen. So maybe he gets lost. Not sure. Anyway, so that's the over-under. We have about
Who bet 8:30?
about 20 people bet, okay, including Shia, who bet 10:30. That's 2 hours behind.
I'm charging big.
Megan Fox, 10:10. It's quite behind. And I gave him the benefit of the doubt and said he's going to be right on time at 8:30. Clearly wrong. Anyway, winner takes all. Official Blackberry time goes, and we have some entrance music for him when he arrives. Hail to the Chief.
And then the Hail to the Chief started. Mike didn't like that at all.
That's very funny. You guys are funny. Is this like gonna be a joke every day?
I was messing with Mike this whole movie. Like, whatever I was doing in the first one was just like a small little nod to where we went with this. Look, come here. Just look at the shot right here. See this right here? You see him when he's touching his head like that? That's a bad sign. That's a bad sign. When he's in this mode, he's in that mode, it means you're gonna get it today. Today's a bad day.
I told these guys there's no more sunflower seeds, so they try to screw around with me. Look at that. Look at that. You know who did this? Shia.
Did he do this morning yet? Did he do this? It's another shit day then. Another shit day in the neighborhood.
What we did is we built a 4-foot section on the real house so we don't blow it up, and we got our explosions behind. You know, you'll see fire, debris, raining stuff, and we're gonna do it without hurting the house.
Hard hold. Ready, and action! Everybody okay? Everybody all right?
Yeah, baby.
Somebody tapped me on the shoulder and said, I see smoke down the ridge a ways. And I said, show me. And I ran over there and I go, okay, we have a problem. It started a small fire in the attic.
It's a smolder fire. They didn't want us to actually bolt into the walls or scratch the floors, but I think we might have started a little fire in the attic.
The house was on fire. They've just sprayed some water on it, so we're good to go today.
We're just wrecking the joint. That's what we do. Move in, it's beautiful, then we wreck it. We'll see you soon.
There was a lot of discussion about where we might do Middle Eastern sand. And we scouted quite extensively in the Southwest, in Arizona, New Mexico, of course, again, and the sand dune areas in California, and we sort of costed it out and also bore in mind the restrictions, because, if we thought Michael blew stuff up on the first one, we knew he was going to go for, swing for the fences on this one, and sure enough, he did. So we decided to go back to White Sands, and because we couldn't do pyrotechnic work in Egypt, we chose to build this Egyptian village there.
White Sands is challenging. It was a challenging location. Just getting there was half the challenge. Finding it was half the challenge.
Well, it's a huge pain in the arse is what it is. You could not get further away from any kind of servicing of a set like that. It really kind of is impractical. It's very, very remote.
It's a town it's just a military base, basically, and there's literally nothing there. There is a Walmart, there is a Chili's, a Applebee's. Not that you need a lot more than that in life, but coming from Los Angeles, to be there for a month or so, we were all kind of anticipating the worst.
It's hot. You're out in the desert in the sun for 15, 16 hours a day. So there's obviously the environmental issue.
The sand, as white as it is really bright. By the end of the day, my eyes are beat. I feel like I've lost some of my vision, so I try to wear sunglasses. But at the same time, Just another morning here in White Sands, New Mexico.
I've worked on a couple of big budget movies, a few, but nothing on this scale.
This one feels a lot bigger than the first one. I mean, I thought the first one we had all the toys and gadgets you can have. I mean, this one there's even more. They build this gigantic set, and he's like a big kid overlooking it all, going, oh, let's go over here, let's blow this up over here, and have them run over here. And he's got it all in his head.
He understands scale in a way that, I don't know, there's probably 2 or 3 other guys maybe in the business, maybe even not.
Michael puts big sweeping images on the screen, and then he moves the camera through them in ways we don't see every day in movies. He's got a tremendous sense of craftsmanship.
I mean, he does big movies unbelievably well.
There is nobody I can think of that does it better than Bay. Nobody blows his shit up as big as he does.
I'm sure Michael's got one of those, you know, like Spinal Tap, you know, explosions. What does he go up to? 10. Well, I want mine to go up to 11.
Action! A lot of the things that I thought, they're not really blowing this up. Yes, they do. They really blow it up.
Basically, if you build it, he's going to blow it up. No, that's a given.
Michael doesn't like to leave everything to ILM. He likes it to be as realistic as possible. So they put together these gas bombs that were 600 gallons of gas total.
It's called the mother of all bombs, which is the acronym being the MOAB.
MOAB, apparently, is what it is called.
It was 55-gallon drums of gasoline with a high explosive charge underneath it, which is usually, in our case, it's dynamite.
There was 14 barrels on that one shot.
600 gallons of gasoline. Big.
How big is the explosion from one trash can? Like, how far is the fire gonna go in the sky?
About 300 feet.
Nice.
Don't look back.
Oh my God.
This is probably the biggest explosion ever done with actors involved in it. Usually the actors are back in their trailer waiting just to hear the thing happen.
There's no like face replacements on this movie, you know? He put us as close to the fire as he was willing to go, and he's willing to go really, really close.
The bomb was of 2 feet from where Shai and I were starting, and Mike kept backing us up closer and closer to where the bomb was.
It's terrifying, really, to be standing next to a trash can that's full of 100 gallons of gasoline, knowing that there's a trigger attached to it. You're literally standing next to it like this, like, hi, death. Because if something goes wrong and somebody triggers it at the wrong moment, you're dead, for sure. There's no coming back from that.
You're f***ed. Like, you're f***ed. Your movie's done. I don't have a face anymore. We're finished.
Fraser, is this the biggest explosion we've had on the show so far in both of them?
Biggest, Shai. This is all for you.
Bigger than anything we did in the first.
Oh, yeah.
And we're looking for all of our special effects guys, and we're like, where are they? Because usually they're close by, monitoring everything, making sure it's going okay. And they were like 6 football fields away, huddled together in a group with like umbrellas and things to shield themselves from whatever might fall from the sky after it went off. But we're standing right next to it.
We blew up the whole world, it felt like. You could feel like the hairs on the back of your neck sizzle. It's like you could smell that hair burn. It was really crazy.
He's never comfortable until he's left death and destruction in his path.
In Michael Bay fashion, as he'd say a lot of times, I think I'm done. I think I've blown up everything I can blow up. There's nothing left.
There's a lot of fire, a lot of ash. That was a tough location to shoot in, hard to breathe in there. You don't have any easy locations with Mike, especially in your grand, battle strategy. I mean, if it's the big battle, it's the big battle. You know that coming to work. Those weren't easy days to be on this film at all.
It's well known that Michael's challenging to work with. For many reasons, he's an absolute perfectionist. He has a very specific idea of what he likes. At times has been known to be, not quite as flexible as one would like.
He is very demanding and very challenging. And I think that's because he's so acute and clear about what he wants. And he'll push and push until he gets results. And I think that is a real quality in that it elevates the performance and the work of everyone.
He doesn't like people to operate in their comfort zone. He has a particular way of unbalancing people, and it's for a particular reason. There's a certain energy and result he can get from people really across the board, cast and crew included, that happens when they're a little off kilter. And he'll go out of his way to achieve that.
Jock, make it more interesting, your first frame. It's pretty boring, dude. Pretty boring, your first frame, Jock. Jock, your first frame, pan over more to the guys. Pan over a teeny bit. Pan more over here. Pan more a little more. Jock, pan more over here. It's not that interesting. No, I want to see through the hole. Offset it.
Michael, Matthew's asking which way they...
Offset the image.
It is a crazy way of making a film, but it's kind of addictive as well. You're right on the edge the whole time. I think he has a theory that if he leaves people to work in their comfort zone, that he's not going to get the best out of them. If he's got people standing around thinking, yeah, I know, I've done this 100 times before, they're not going to give it their all.
Hey! Guys! I said 15 seconds, not 30! Casey, could you quiet that whole laughing stock over there, back there? I know they're having a great time. Guys, I'm shooting. Don't bother my mojo.
I think he's a little bit misunderstood. He is tough, he is demanding, and he's very detail-oriented, but whatever you want to say about him, the guy's talented. He's a brilliant, in my opinion, a brilliant filmmaker. And so, it is what it is. And a lot of the times he doesn't, he may scream at somebody, but 2 minutes later he's laughing with them.
I've worked with some wild directors and much, much more, I'm sure he'll be depressed about this, but much, much more intimidating than him and really violent.
Everybody says he's hard to work with and he's this and that, and he's hard to deal with. I didn't find that. I found a person who's extremely dedicated, who's extremely specific, and who's dealing with the weight of the world. That's not easy for a man. So I'm understanding of Mike. Like, I understand him more, and he's become more humorous to me than scary. He used to be this barking dog who's really terrifying, really. And then after a while that loses its vigor and it just becomes like he becomes like a clown almost, like a character. Seriously, and I think he realizes that it's a character. And he likes playing that General Patton role. He's an actor himself, and it's his on-set persona. Because if you ever catch Mike anywhere else, like at the mall petting little dogs, or at the children's hospital passing out lollipops, or making hammocks for homeless people out of hemp, Mike does a lot of things nobody knows about.
Look, he is a supremely talented person. Visually, he sees things like no one I've ever worked with. He creates things that were not there that are magnificent to watch or be a part of, and God bless him. He's doing well for himself. I think he's gonna make it. I think he's gonna be a star one day.